Good afternoon, greater Philadelphia area. This is Toole Time, Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon. She's Stacey Mitchell. We have Nick Wolf behind the camera. We all work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we're going to be going over some interesting stuff today. We got some more NAR drama, and there's actually a debate coming up, too, I want to talk about between Michael Ketchmark and another real estate leader. We've got home insurance shocks going through the housing market because of fire, wind, and flood risk. And we're also going to be talking about the things realtors need to have with them so they are able to go do business and be in the arena, which I think is something that's very undervalued in today's climate. So if you get some value out of any of these topics, make sure you hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. Click on the bell for notifications, or if you want to schedule a call about your own real estate needs, there's a link in the comments where you can schedule a call with our amazing team. So this is something that, you know, insurance to me is like the redheaded stepchild. Are you allowed to say that anymore? I have a redheaded daughter, so I think
I feel
I'm
like
okay.
You're probably allowed
You're
to.
okay.
Yeah, I do. Yes, I have a lot of redheaded people in my family, but it's something people forget about. I've heard mortgage officers say it's a same-day approval process, which is bad advice.
Right.
And now, thanks to Lance Lambert, who I've had the pleasure to talk with a couple times, he put together an article on the Resi Club. It's ResiClubAnalytics.com. It's probably the most insightful housing website that's out there because it's all about housing. Like, you go to some of these other sites and they tell you about like financial models and all this stuff. This is just housing, which I appreciate, and agents should too. So it's a must follow for me. We're a paid subscriber there, and there's 3 specific types of homeowners insurance shocks that are coming. One affects Pennsylvania a little more than others, but there's a lot of folks, and there's some maps here. I'll have Nick put these up on the post-op, that there's an insurance correction happening around the country right now due to fire risk, due to wind risk, and due to flood risk. And around here we see flood probably the most out of the 3. Do people really factor in their insurance when they're buying houses? Like, I mean, you guys are on this all the time. A lot of buyers, and when we actually give them a free quote, we give them a free clue report to all our clients. Most people just ignore this stuff, is what I found. And now rates are getting jacked up, and there's a lot of things happening in the insurance industry. So what's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that you want to factor in. I mean, I know when we do our cost sheets for, if you're on like, you know, your buyer estimates, I usually try to I intentionally try to inflate them a little bit, just so that, you know, you'd rather have that number come down than go up. But definitely, like, as soon as you get under contract, you want to start getting on that, because you don't know if you are going to have an issue or something's going to come up, or you do need to really like shop around or piece some things together.
Yeah, I agree. If it's someone who has already owned a home or currently owns a home and they're going into their next home, it's probably a little bit easier process, and they know this is something that they have to inquire about. Mm-hmm. But if it's a first-time home buyer who doesn't have a clue about homeowners insurance, now maybe if they're renting, they hopefully have renter's insurance, but you really need to address that, because that is part of their monthly payment. Mm-hmm. Because the lender is going to factor that into their escrow.
Yeah.
Because that's included. The lender's not going to let you go uninsured. And if you were to go uninsured, they're going to apply a policy to you, and it's going to be outrageously expensive. So I think to bring it up sooner than later, especially I think in the buyer consult, that's how important it is, especially since we've been hearing so many things in the news about how the insurance is higher now. Mm-hmm. There's other risk factors like flood insurance. Is this property in a flood zone? Do I need an extra policy, which is going to really increase your costs annually? And I'm hearing that there are insurance companies that prior to your renewal, they'll send a drone out over your home and take pictures of your roof and send you letters of either potential termination if you don't address your what looks to be like a failing roof,
right?
Or if the roof's okay, then they'll renew. But typically, it is at a higher cost. So there's a lot of things going on in the land of insurance. So it's something to be aware of and to make our clients aware of too.
Right, and I mean, there's like unforeseen things that will pop up. I mean, I recently had a client who we closed on his new house last month. He was renting, and there was a fire in his, like, it didn't start in his apartment. It was like the one below or adjacent. It did carry into his. There was a fire damage. Again, nothing, and he had renter's insurance and all of that, but then getting insured on like the homeownership side, like that came up, and that was something that took a little bit for them to like work through and get like the different documentation showing that, because it didn't happen that long ago, so it wasn't like a closed case, if you will.
Right. So if you had past claims on your policy, that is definitely, whether it's your fault or not,
Right.
it's definitely going to come into play for any new policies. I had a similar situation about that. We had an arson on one of our rental properties, and it stuck with us for 5 years.
Yeah.
So our insurance policies were so inflated, even though we were victims of an arson.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, well, this wasn't even our fault. And they're
Right.
like, well, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's
Pay
gonna
up.
be on. Yeah, pay up, sister. It's going to be on your record for 5 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely something to be aware of.
Sure.
To give some perspective here, and we're most, I'm trying to think of the word here. The flood is the biggest risk here.
Susceptible?
Yeah, susceptible. There you go. Thank you, Sarah. Good. You can tell me doing this for a while. So the most susceptible to flood risk here, there's a lot of like underground streams and things that run along the greater Philadelphia area that people don't realize. In terms of fire, there's 3,075 U.S. counties that were analyzed. 46 counties had least at 50% of the local housing properties identified as risk of insurance correction for fire. So that's a decent amount, and it's typically places like California, Arizona, Nevada, but then also in the Pacific Northwest, Texas, a couple places in Florida.
Interesting that they didn't highlight Hawaii on there.
Well,
Maybe it's too new.
you know, they don't have anything in Hawaii or Alaska, so I don't know if they were analyzed. That's
Yeah.
on all these maps here. And in terms of wind risk, so for our friends at the Jersey Shore, this is something where the you know all basically the whole coastline on the East Coast is identified as wind risk. 368 out of the 3,075 U.S. counties had at least 50% of the local properties identified as insurance correction opportunities because of wind risk. And for flood, this is the interesting one, because they redid the flood maps a couple years ago, and like Downingtown specifically, there's like an area of Downingtown that's in a flood zone. There's parts of Wynwood that are in flood zones, parts of Wayne that are in flood zones, and all of a sudden these properties that never had flood insurance, they had flood insurance. So if you're a real estate agent right now, I don't care where you are, you're doing your clients a disservice if you're not talking about the insurance process up front. This needs to be, hey, this is a component of your payment. It's going to be part of something you pay for the next 30 years. And I'd be giving them referrals to people that aren't a big box company. Those are like the worst places you can go. It's kind of like a mortgage. Like, you don't want to go to Geico or State Farm. I would rather them go to a broker or someone local that can say, hey, here's 5 different quotes. I'm going to shop this around for you. Kevin Hamill with Alliances Insurance has been on the show a number of times, and he actually connected Sarah and I in the first place. And he's notoriously saved people lots of money just by reviewing their policies with them. And so many home buyers, they just mail it in. Oh, I got car insurance with these people.
Yeah.
Oh, they do my whatever insurance. I'm going to go with them instead of actually shopping it around and trying to bundle. And it's a mistake that consumers are making right now. And in an era where affordability is a challenge, this is a part of your payment. I don't care what anyone says. So it's something that really needs to be addressed, and agents could do a much better job, especially at the initial meeting, like you talked about, to really understand this a little better.
When Kevin's also a great resource for, let's say I'm out showing a property to somebody and it is in like a flood zone or it's kind of like unclear, I can just like shoot him an email, send him a text and be like, hey, like just ballpark me here. And he gets back very quickly with like, it'll probably be about this much, so that you know going in, even before you write your offer and stuff, if that's something you need to factor in. And you hear flood insurance, and I think in some cases think like, oh, no way, like that's going to be a deal breaker. In some cases, it's not that bad. You just have to it's case by, you just have to know. You have to check.
Right.
Well, he also has the ability to get private flood insurance, which a lot of people don't know is a thing. And this has helped me sell properties because most agents aren't informed in this. And it's a challenge for buyers because you've got to get insurance to get your loan approved. That's an underwriting requirement, period. There's no question about it. So what he's done for clients of mine when I've had listings, and they actually do get significant flooding. It's not like, hey, you're in a flood zone, but it's, hey, this property might flood at some point.
Yeah.
And people buy these homes anyway. They always do. He will give a quote, and it's typically like 27 to 32% less than what the FEMA flood insurance quote would be. So there's options out there. And the way people shop for mortgages, they should be shopping for homeowners insurance.
And really have a great understanding of you don't want to go for the cheapest policy or
Right.
cheapest price. I mean, honestly, this is your largest
Investment.
largest asset. Why
Mhm.
would you skimp on it? You know
Right.
what I mean? Because when you need it, you need it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm an insurance agent right now, but it's so true. It just comes from personal experience. And like, thank goodness we had like this amazing policy because we were made whole. Whereas other people that we know have had problems and they weren't made whole. There's so many different languages. So when you do talk to your agent, and you know, Kevin's awesome. I
Mhm.
just love him because he's saved me a bunch of money, got me great policies.
Mhm.
So he can do the same for everybody out there. But he will go into detail and help you understand what you're buying
Right.
and how much coverage you have and what you're going to be covered for. And I think that's vital.
Well, and I think it's just another example of things that get missed in the initial meeting when meeting with a real estate agent. If they're not talking about this or at least giving you a perspective, then what ends up happening is it causes a problem later. And sometimes you mentioned, we talk about the clue report, right? So the clue report is the report of claims over the past 5 years on a property. Well, if there's a claim on a property you're buying, even though it wasn't yours, so you got pinged for arson, like maybe the criminal should be paying your insurance, not the
Right.
person that actually.
They're in prison.
Well, good.
They caught him.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, good. All right. So
Yeah.
then, so that guy's getting that guy or woman is getting what they deserve. But
Yes.
the point is, these things that aren't your fault
Right.
will impact your payment. And if you don't know that, and there's a surprise at the table, and like your other house is sold, you're already moved out. I mean, there's a lot of things that go, and so many people wait until literally the last day to get insurance. I've seen this happen all the
Yep.
time when I'm on the seller side, and it's, hey, you should be doing this like the first like week, because if you don't like it, that's when you can maybe get out of the transaction based on the contingencies, not a day before settlement.
Right.
100%.
So that's what we got with insurance. The other thing I want to cover here is what's going on in the market, because we're always looking at like economic trends and how things are happening. And there was an interesting article that just dropped on Housing Wire. I want to get your take on this. It was from Logan Motoshami, and what he was talking about is that he feels fewer homes are going to be making price adjustments in the spring than what we've seen the past 6 months. This to me is a loaded headline. I don't like it for a lot of reasons. He's talking about percentages, and here's the numbers for the first week of the year. So in 2022, the first week of the year was 22.6% of listings had a price adjustment. The second in 2023, the first week of the year, 36.5% of all listings had a price adjustment. And in 2024, it was 32.8%. So it's down a little bit from last year. What do you see about the health of the market? Because price adjustments to me are more about strategy from sellers, what demand is like.
And like the or like the normal, outside of, if certain things going on in the market, it's usually what 33 to 36% would.
I don't know the
nationally.
answer. Yeah, I don't know the answer for that for sure. If I did, I would tell you. I find that it's this is just such it's really misleading for a lot of people. I don't like this headline at all.
Wait, what was the headline again?
Fewer homes will take a price cut in the spring.
Yeah. Well, first of all, when we still have clients asking about they're going to wait for the prices to drop, right? And it could be because they see headlines like this that allude to like price drops, or there was a bunch of price drops in the past. But I mean, we do see price adjustments, but it's typically because the house was aggressively priced in the beginning.
Right.
So and buyers are smart, they'll look and they'll wait. But if a home has been, priced very aggressively and after the first couple of weeks they're not getting any bites, you have to make a price adjustment.
Right.
So I think this was where the majority of these numbers come from, because when it was fast and furious in 2020, 2021, 2020, the homes wouldn't sit.
Right.
I mean, they went under contract no matter what,
Right.
sellers. So when sellers are like, yeah, I'm going to list it for XYZ,
Right.
and we know it's 75 grand too high.
Yeah.
But, that's exactly what the seller wants to do.
Right.
And we test the waters and we have to make a price adjustment. Then that's thrown into the category when we knew from the very beginning it was overpriced.
Right. Right.
So I think that my experience already this year is that there's homes that are going to be multiple offer situations where we were just in one. There was 8 offers.
Yeah.
It could have gone even more, but she cut everything short.
So
because of the interest rate drop, buyers are coming back in, which is going to increase the competition.
Right.
So I think that's what he's alluding to. Like fewer homes will take a price cut because maybe the buyers are coming back into the fold.
Right.
And there's going to be that push for housing again, more so.
I tend to agree with you because pricing is so subjective. You have some sellers, they price their homes wildly and correctly. Some agents recommend pricing low to get high. I don't think that's a great strategy either. So this headline's not great. What I do agree with Stacey, and I think you're on point, and maybe, I don't know if he wrote the headline, right? I mean, this might be Housing Wire doing it, but this is a bad headline. Fewer homes will take a price cut. You don't know how many homes are going to take a price cut. There's some homes that are great houses, and they're just priced high, and they're sitting there. So when you look at these percentages, and here's his explanation. If you continue the current seasonal trend, we're going to surpass the price cut percentage lows of 2023 by the spring. This is why, following the housing market tracker that he put together, and you're looking at mortgage rates, the 10-year purchase application data, it's going to be very critical. That way you're not waiting for stale sales data, which I do agree with. But if you look at when we saw a lot of price increases happen, the most price decreases, the most we've seen since 2019 was the second half of this year because rates were at 8%, and that slowed the market down. Now you're seeing a number that's in line with where we saw towards the beginning of last year, maybe a little higher, but with rates coming into the 6, we're not going to see 3 or 4. We're going to see more buyers come to the market for sure. And rates were lower last January. They were in the 5.99 range, not 6 1/4, 6 3/8. So I don't know that you can take that with the way it's being said. And this really demonstrates why it's important to get the local data here, because this is a national number. You've got markets like Austin, San Antonio, places in Florida where they're seeing prices actually go down. We're not seeing that here in the greater Philadelphia area. So when I look at this and I see that piece of data being put out there, I get a little nervous how that's going to be interpreted by home buyers when, like you're saying, you're seeing 3, 4, 5, 8 offers, however many. It's just a dangerous place to be in, and that really demonstrates the importance of having a financial planning meeting. We talked about this yesterday. Before you go out and look at homes, what payment do I need? How much cash do I need to show up with? Forget the rate. What's the monthly payment? These are the numbers that buyers should be looking at, and the sellers that want to go out and buy something, because if you don't have a strategy, then that's where you can get lost in, I saw this on this website, and I saw this other headline here. And any agent that doesn't guide their people with the right data, I mean, it might be time for them just to get out of the business entirely or do something else.
Right.
Which we're going to see that happen this year.
Yeah.
Hold that thought until the next segment here. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. The NAR President has resigned. This is the second one we've seen in the last 12 months. We've got a debate coming up with a couple people, with Michael Ketchmark from the Sitzer-Burnett lawsuit and a real estate team leader. And we also have seen a lot of people get out of the business just over the past month. We're going to talk about all what's happening next in the real estate industry on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
For the best local mortgage service and great rates on your money, look no further than Mortgage America. We've been operating in the greater Philadelphia area for 40 years with a focus on smooth, easy access to home purchasing. Whether you're a first-time buyer, upsizing or downsizing, or just refinancing, we have programs for you. We also have closing cost assistance programs and access to subsidized interest rates. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. To learn more, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000. We always have a person available to take your call with around-the-clock human service. Purchase your home with the personalized, local service you find at Mortgage America.
Mortgage America is an equal housing lender. NMLS 128501.
I'm Tom Toole of the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line. If you're thinking of becoming a real estate agent in the greater Philly area, I have a special offer for you. Our team did $165 million of volume in 2021, making us the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania and a top 1% team nationally. Our agents love us because we offer them a successful career, a great life, and an unbeatable culture. Agents who've been with us for at least a year average 30-plus sales. Even our brand new agents average 17 to 24 sales a year. We offer proven systems and expert training. We help you set more appointments and sell more houses. Now here's the offer. If you don't have a real estate license yet, we offer real estate scholarships so you can get one for free. Check it out at realestatescholarshipprogram.com or visit the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline at tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Get more out of your real estate career, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline.
When you're getting a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice great service just to get a great rate. At Mortgage America, we've been lending with this philosophy for over 35 years. We have access to great low rates without the complications and delays of big or online banks. We're a local Pennsylvania lender with loan officers that you can actually meet. As PHFA's #1 lender, we specialize in all residential mortgage programs, including first-time buyer programs and low down payment options. For your free pre-approval, call us at 610-439-8000 or apply online at mymortgageamerica.com. Mortgage America is equal housing lender, NMLS 1285001.
Welcome back to Tool Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Stacey Mitchell. She's Sarah Tymon. We've got Nick Wolf behind the camera, and we all work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we've got a plethora of real estate topics to cover here in this next segment. The NAR President, Tracy Casper, has resigned. We'll get to that momentarily. We've seen the first annual decline in realtor membership at NAR since 2012. It was not a great time to be selling real estate, although we did pretty well. And then we also have a commission lawsuit debate coming up. I want to get to all this stuff here. Very fascinating. First, let's start with NAR President Tracy Casper. So this happened yesterday, and it was announced that Tracy Casper, who was, I guess, the interim president, she cited a recent threat as a reason for stepping down, and President-elect Kevin Sears is stepping into the role effective immediately. This is the second NAR resignation for the president in the past year. This is the multiple resignations from people at NAR, in line with CEO Bob Goldberg and President Kenny Parcell, or whatever his name is. I have a lot of things to call him that I can't say on the air. And here's her statement. As president and longtime member of NAR, I always have put the interests of NAR first. As a result of the recent threat and given the significance of this moment for myself, my family, and the organization, it is again time for me to put the interests of NAR first. So it is with a mix of gratitude and a heavy heart that I submit my resignation as your president effective immediately. In doing so, it gives our leadership team the ability to take the reins and forge forward in affecting the change that we all have worked so hard over the past few months to begin. I know I leave our members, our staff, and our association in good hands. Here's what happened. She received a threat to reveal a personal, non-financial matter from the past. And at first, she refused and reported the threat to law enforcement, but ultimately she felt it was best for the organization to step down. The leadership team at NAR expressed a deep concern over any attempt to undermine the governance of the organization. In response to the situation, steps are being taken to protect the integrity of NAR. What do you two think?
I guess we don't know who sent the threat.
I wish we did. I want to know everything.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever find out?
Non-financial matter.
Personal, non-financial matter? Well, I mean, first of all, do we believe anything that comes out? I don't.
Right. Well, I guess, I mean, it must have been something that she was embarrassed enough about, or like
that
you would
organization
step
is
down.
just needs to be like totally cleansed. Like everybody just needs to go, and they have just all new people come in.
Yeah.
If they want a shot,
right,
of actually surviving.
Yeah.
They're so discredited at this point. It's a shame.
Could it be going any worse for NAR right now? I mean, this is like a joke, and unfortunately, we're forced to be members of this organization because we need MLS access. Otherwise, we're not serving our clients, which I know is a big reason why the three of us are sitting here, and that's what one of our core values at our team. I mean, non-financial personal matter. I'll let everyone put there could be a number of different things that happened. It can't be good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and this is. After going through what happened with Kenny Parcell, after he was alleged detailed sexual harassment allegations, and then Bob Goldberg, who allegedly put up with it all and allowed it to happen. Now you have this happen. It's like, what are these guys doing? And what are these people doing? I don't understand how you think you're going to get away with stuff in 2024 now. There's cameras everywhere, emails, text messages, right? You can't do anything unless you want to get caught. Like, don't do anything you don't want to get caught for. That's the advice I have for people.
Yeah.
It's really disappointing. And they put her in here as the interim president. I mean, don't they do background checks on these people?
Right.
I think they were just pulling somebody from within,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing how corrupt and deep it goes, or just hoping that nobody would find out. But obviously, there's all kinds of internal problems there.
Right.
All kinds of internal problems.
Well, I mean, I guess
The power
who
struggle.
knows if NAR was aware of that at the time that they put her in that position, like whatever it is. Like this could have been,
Who appointed her?
I think NAR.
Let's
Who of
Oh,
NAR?
who in NAR? I don't know.
Yeah, see, it's like a whole cesspool there
Right.
now. I mean, they're all interconnected. Everybody in leadership knows the leadership, right?
Yeah.
And it just seems like it's just so corrupt at this point.
Right. Although, like, what's interesting here too, though, which I don't know how, like, what to think about this. If the threat is that she needs to, like, announce whatever this is that they want her to announce, I guess it's not like it was like a ransom note. Like, oh, now you're like successful. Not a ransom note, but like a blackmail. Doesn't sound
Like blackmail?
right. Like to
Well-
get.
this is
like,
definitely blackmail.
Yeah.
But I guess, just blackmail for her to reveal it, not blackmail for money.
Or just like if you continue in your post, hey, this is what's going to come out.
Yeah.
Because she said it was a personal but not financial
matter. Interesting.
So, I mean, I look at this and there was blackmail is obviously she did something bad enough that she doesn't want to talk about it.
Right.
Right.
She does not want it to come out.
Yeah. Rather give up the position than have it come out.
I'm out of here. Bye.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, to me, it's just, it's another example of the good old boys club, or in this case, the good old women's club, or whatever you're going to call it. And it's really disappointing. And the problem is, too, who wants this job, right? I mean, like as a real estate agent, you know what I want to go do? I want to go help people buy and sell real estate. That's my job. That's my focus. I'm here to serve the clients. And, people, it's kind of like being president of the U.S. It sounds like a horrible
Oh my
job.
God, I would
Right.
never want that job.
Never.
But it's always someone that has there's different aspirations there. I mean, being a politician looks miserable to me. You're working. You think real estate agents work all the time?
Right.
Those people literally work all the time. Like they're out all day long. They get home 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then they're doing the same thing all over again. I don't get it, and it takes a certain kind of person there, and it's just really disappointing that they. I mean, I'm just waiting for the next one. Like what this guy Kevin Sears do? I'm kidding, Kevin. I don't know you. I know you're from Massachusetts, but like imagine like. What else is going to happen here?
Right.
NAR could not. I've never seen a trade organization fall apart like this before, and it's unfortunate because we're part of it because of the job that we do. Although I don't know that, I mean, it's just really unfortunate.
Wait, do
Yeah.
we know when the threat came in?
There's not a lot of details around that.
So
I mean,
hopefully they had enough time to properly vet the.
well, he was the
next.
president-elect, so he already was. Like,
Oh,
they
he was
always have
already
a
lined up.
president-elect lined up the year before, and then they shadow him for a year. Is kind of the idea. That's how they're
Gotcha.
set up. So, just another black eye for NAR. We're never going to find out what she did. Maybe we will. Who knows? Let's move on to the next story here. I mean, we could just complain about this all day. So, in light of that, here's another bad move by NAR. So there's a Housing Wire debate. So Housing Wire, one of my go-to news websites here, they work with Real Trends as well. On January 26th, so it's next Friday is the date. They're having a virtual debate between Michael Ketchmark, the plaintiff's attorney for the Sitzer Burnett commission lawsuit, and Anthony Lamacchia, CEO of Lamacchia Realty, and an outspoken advocate for realtors to discuss the trial. I'm just, why isn't NAR spearheading this? How did Lamakia get this? Couldn't they have picked anybody better? What do you think about this open debate? I mean, we already saw the Josh Flagg interview from $1 Million Listing with Michael Ketchmark. What do you think about this? I mean, this to me is pretty interesting.
So what is the purpose of it?
The purpose of the debate is
Well, just to like go over
to
the case?
debate
Just
the pros and
case?
cons. Yeah.
With the hopes of
I don't think it's anything more than, I mean, this is a PR move, right? I mean,
Okay.
it's
Trying
moderated.
to change minds or hearts or
Or
something.
I didn't know if because all of these copycat cases are coming up, if it's to try to slow that down, or I don't know. I don't know.
The idea, I mean, it's to provide a forum where these two can go talk about the value of a buyer broker and the future of real estate commissions.
Okay.
I gotcha. So it's really to show in a good light what the value is.
Oh, okay. So it's not 1 for, 1 against.
Oh, no, it's definitely 1 for, 1 against. Michael
Right.
Ketchmark is heavily against.
Okay, right. Because
Yeah.
he was the attorney that represented in the Sitzler-Burnett case, right?
Mhm.
So, like, what value could come out of it? I don't know. I'd be curious to see it, though, honestly.
I like the idea of this, and I'm a little more plugged in probably than you two are. I've seen Anthony Lamakia talk about these things before, and he's published some videos. He's got a couple. He's got a following on social, like a lot of real estate agents do. Myself included. There was one video in particular. I watched it over the weekend, and he basically said, like, "Hey, come sue me." Like that was the message I got. Is like, "Hey, I'll defend this. I'm willing to go for it." I don't know that I want to be the one out there debating this with the attorney because one, you're putting a target on yourself. I don't think that's a smart move as a business owner in general. I mean, I like just to do what we do
Right.
best, which is help people buy and sell real estate, right?
Right.
And I that's always the main thing for our team. And I think you guys know that well enough about our organization, and you're a big part of that, the both of you and Nick. I mean, that's all we focus on. So I don't know that I want to be the one doing this. However, there's got to be somebody better that can represent. I mean, this is what NAR should have been doing. Like, this is my point. Like, there's no leadership there, and they're relying on a team leader who runs a team brokerage to do all this stuff. And I think that's the gap between NAR and what we're seeing with Anthony Lamakia or somebody else. Say whatever you want about the person. His company sells a lot of real estate. I mean, that's really what it is.
Do you think that he will put on a good debate? Like, do you think we'll be able to go head-to-head with Kessler?
I don't know him personally. I know who he is, and I would imagine it's going to be pretty strong if it's moderated properly. Like CNN interview with Josh Flagg kept getting interrupted the whole time. We watched, and it was like they just let Michael, and it was only like 5 minutes, so it wasn't like a debate. Is actually a better format for this, in my view, where there's some moderation there. He's going to do a better job than NAR did. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, they already lost the case. I mean, it's so. I like that it's an industry leader. I just would have loved someone that maybe is, I mean, there could have been a lot of different people that would have done this, or maybe the CEOs of the companies debate him, or something like that. Now they're involved in a lawsuit, so I don't know if that's viable. Like, I mean, Lamakia and his companies, they're not named in any of this stuff, so I mean, obviously that has something to do with it. Who do you think is going to win the debate?
I don't know. I mean, lawyers are lawyers, and they know their stuff. And if they're good,
He seems pretty good.
yeah. And they know how to put on a show.
Yeah.
And they're very good at communicating. Then he could wipe up the floor with them.
Right.
He's not going to. Anthony Lamakia will not get the floor wiped. I can tell you right
Okay.
now. I don't. I mean, I'm not saying he's the best. I don't know him. I know who he is. I think he's going to do a better job than Josh Flagg did because he's going to be more prepared. I think Josh went on that interview and just kind of
Loosey-goosey.
yeah, and Josh Flagg is a very successful agent, and it's also when you're dealing in the luxury market of Los Angeles, I think it's a much different conversation than when you're talking about the homes that we sell, for
Right.
example.
Right.
I was joking around with people I know out there. We would be on the TV show $250,000 listing because we sell lots of those, and and I think that's his argument. This is for the everyman, right? The average person. So, I bet Anthony Lamakia is going to be a lot more prepared. I'd be attacking Michael Ketchmark on exactly how he gets paid because it's basically the same thing. I mean, there's a strategy here to win. I think this could help. And maybe it helps the loss. I don't think he's going to get the floor wiped to him. I think it's going to be actually a little more of a formidable debate. I'll be tuning in for sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be watching.
I mean, it says here that for Ketchmark, when he first gained national attention in 2002, when he won a $2.2 billion verdict against a pharmacist in Kansas City who diluted the chemotherapy drugs given to thousands of patients to maximize profit. I mean, that is horrendous. That's something to that. So, and there was another one for wrongful death and something with an emergency room doctor, stuff that I feel like you could really get people behind because that's so awful. What was being done. Whereas I don't know if you would be able to pool those same and I'm sure he's a phenomenal attorney, but I don't know that there's the same heartstrings there that you can pool as in some of maybe his previous cases.
I mean, there's always people that feel like they get screwed in a real estate transaction no matter what happens, and a lot of it's because the agents don't properly explain things. So I think but it's not they're getting screwed. It just wasn't laid out properly. I mean, we deal with standard contracts. It's not anything. And I can't tell you how many people that they would not have bought a house if it wasn't for working with Stacey or with you. I think of a couple clients we've talked about with both you guys. That they wouldn't have gotten there had they not had the right advice. And I think that's what's being missed here. And the job of a personal injury attorney, I mean, when they smell blood in the water, they kind of go after it. Let's call it what it is. And I mean, Lance Lambert said that on the Knowledge Brokers podcast. He actually asked us this question. I was all about Lance, and then he's like, I got a question for you guys. And I'm like, oh boy. And he said usually that, when they smell blood in the water, they kind of go after it and they go to get paid. And I think that's probably what's happening here more than anything else, as evidenced by the copycat lawsuits that we're seeing.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, they all jumped on board. That's
and
for
what
sure.
the national reach out for has anybody sold a house, bought or sold a been involved in a real estate transaction these years? Contact us.
Right, the commercials at 11:30 at night.
It's like Better Call Saul. If you ever watch that show. So, all right. So we got one more piece of news here. I'm going to be tuning into this debate. I think it's smart to do it, and unfortunately, we're not seeing a lot of real estate leaders talk about this. I mean, we talk about it all the time. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me because we're running a training around here's what to do in the era of the commission lawsuit. And people are like, I haven't heard anything from my broker or my team leader about this. If that's happening to you, shoot me a DM or something. I can get you tuned into our training that we're running next Wednesday. It's going to be really, really helpful. So you can go sell houses in spite of this commission lawsuit because we're certainly doing it. And it's coming up a lot, by the way. You had to come up. You've had to come up. I had the first phone call I made the day after the ruling on November 1st. I had to come up. So, I mean, it's very real.
It's a surprise that some of these brokers are not addressing this. This is major. We've been talking about it from, even before they went. You've been tracking this for ever since it came. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
Exactly. I have nothing else to do, Sarah. I sit in my office and read about real estate all day long.
No, but we've been. I feel like we brought this up. I feel like our first show,
when we recorded it,
we
we
were
very nervous. Yeah.
about what could happen. It's been going on a while. So I'm just grateful that we are in the know because we have people like you, Tom, that keep us in the know and that want to have the positive reputation and really care about what's going on out there. Thank goodness.
Well, that means a lot, and it's also because we have great people we're working with that all actually really care about their clients, too. And we can't do this without everyone here. Enough love fest here, Stacey. We got other stuff to talk about, but thank you. That does mean a lot, probably more than you know. What I will say to that is that real estate, it's this industry where people just do things the same way all the time. Like, oh, I've been in the business 30 years, and this is how I've gone to every single settlement I've had, and all this that's part of real estate, unfortunately. Last story we got here. And this actually plays to what we're talking about here. NAR saw their biggest decline in membership, their first decline in membership since 2012. So as of the end of December, the NAR, a National Association of Realtors, is down to 1.554 million members, down 26,000 and change from a year ago. But in the month from November to December, they lost 17,489 of those 26,000. That's twice the sum of the total of all the other declines in 2023 put together.
Wow.
What does that tell you about what's going on in the market right now, what's going on at NAR? And, I mean, this kind of the commission lawsuit, you name it. I mean, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, even if nothing difficult or negative is going on, every year there's going to be people that drop out and new people that come in. Just circle of life. But
yes,
yeah, I mean, I think that there are, there's a lot of speculation. It is different currently being involved in real estate transactions than it had been for the last couple years. And if you were on the fence about it, I think it was an easy decision for some people just to get out. Also, if they look back over the past year at, if they haven't, you have to have transactions go through and get to settlement to get paid.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if you were close a lot or if people like you or if whatever, like at the end of the day, like this is what you do to live. And you can only go so long without getting a paycheck.
Right. So you have to consider getting out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for folks that are just choosing to not be a member of NAR, I think that's probably the bigger picture here of the number.
Great point.
Because people they're not getting any value out of these hundreds of dollars that we have to pay NAR. So they're like, why am I doing this? I don't want to be a part of this organization. They obviously don't have, the integrity has been lost there. It started at the very top, and it seems like it's just continuing. So they've got nothing but negative and negative and negative press. And why would you want to, go around touting that you're a member of NAR, And we often question, where's our value? What's the value? We have to be in it because of our MLS.
Right.
So, and they keep raising their fees. They had an increase. Well, obviously because they're, bleeding membership here. So they're losing money. And Bob Goldberg got a golden parachute, didn't he? What was his takeaway?
Too much.
Yeah. So, which is questionable there.
I mean, F that guy, what I would say there. So.
Right. And it just seems like the drama's continuing. And if you're in the news because of drama and not because of service, you have a major, major problem. And it doesn't look to me that they're trying to change anything anytime soon.
So you bring up a couple great points. And before I get to those, we live in Philadelphia, right? So a lot of people like the sports teams around here, the Philadelphia Eagles. What has everyone been talking about? The meltdown of the team it's nonstop. And I'm as big of a fan as anybody. It stinks, but they're talking about all the things that are going wrong right now. And just when you think it can't get any worse, then something else happens, right? That's what's going on with NAR right now. It's like and I actually, the Eagles are in way better shape than NAR, by the way. Like, I do not want to, I know some people that used to work with the organization. They're in way better shape. But it's like one thing after another. And then that story yesterday, I'm like, you got to be kidding me with this. Like, now the person that took the other person's place, blackmail? Like, I mean, how much worse is it going to get?
Yeah.
So with your point, Stacey, Washington State reported the largest percentage year-over-year decline in NAR membership. At 9.51%, they lost over 2,000 members. And the largest in-state MLS, the Northwest Multiple Listing Service, is not affiliated with NAR. So all those people backed out. We also saw that Coldwell Banker franchise say, hey, we don't need to affiliate with NAR anymore. We've got Redfin is no longer a member of NAR. Well, that's a lot of agents right there. And they might have a high volume that aren't doing a lot of transactions, but that's what happens. There's only a few states that reported increases, and they were all pretty nominal. Actually, the biggest increase was Puerto Rico, believe it or not. They had 22.84%, probably because they're operationalizing real estate in Puerto Rico is my guess. So you're right on that it's the states that are saying, hey, you don't need MLS access. I think that's actually pretty interesting. According to a 1,000-watt and BAM agent survey, 71.7% of real estate agents would not let the opportunity pass them by to leave NAR without losing MLS and lockbox access.
Wow.
That tells you what you need to know. And when I don't, especially with the things that have happened, it's not like it's, oh, this is bad business or it's been some pretty vile things that have gone on. I don't blame 71% of the real estate population. I tend to feel the same way. We don't have an option here. And this number is going to increase, and we're also going to see people, especially with license renewal coming up in May, I think we're going to see a lot of people even drop out even more for the reason you talked about, Sarah, because there's some agents, they're out there, and they're real estate agents in name only because they're not helping people. And that's the other issue that we're running into. Any other takeaways here from this? I mean, this is a lot to digest. What a disaster that's going on right now with NAR and this lawsuit. And, and the membership numbers show it. I mean, it's pretty clear.
I think it's going to get worse. I think more is going to come out.
Oh, I think you're right. And if they thought that 2024 was going to be their year to recover.
Oh, not off to a good start.
No. And I think you're right, Sarah. I think there's more to this.
Yeah.
There's definitely more to this, and we're going to find out more as it plays out. It's just the drama.
And
Oh my
Tracy, I mean,
gosh.
she stepped down, but I bet it's still going to come out.
It's still going to come out. They got her out, but they're still going to say, hey, here.
Yeah.
It always
why.
comes out.
Yep.
It always comes out. So we're going to leave it there. We're going to come right back, and we're going to talk about if you want to be in the arena and not be in Club 87, which is the 87% of agents that fail in real estate. There's some things you need to prep for because proper preparation prevents poor performance. We're going to come right back, talk about that, how to be ready for appointments at any time on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
When you're getting a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice great service just to get a great rate. At Mortgage America, we've been lending with this philosophy for over 35 years. We have access to great low rates without the complications and delays of big or online banks. We're a local Pennsylvania lender with loan officers that you can actually meet. As PHFA's #1 lender, we specialize in all residential mortgage programs, including first-time buyer programs and low down payment options. For your free pre-approval, call us at 610-439-8000 or apply online at mymortgageamerica.com.
Mortgage America's equal housing lender, NMLS 1285001.
You shouldn't have to deal with all the red tape when getting your mortgage from a big or online bank. At Mortgage America, we have access to big bank money, but with the personalized and detailed service of a local bank. We are here in your community and ready to serve with fast settlements, low down payment options, and first-time homebuyer programs. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. For more information, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000.
Mortgage America's equal housing lender, NMLS 1285001.
The Tom Toole Sales Group is the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania with over $165 million in volume for 2021. I'm Tom Toole, and our team has achieved that kind of success by being a great place to work with and to work for. No one knows Greater Philly better than we do. We know real estate, but more importantly, we're real people. We hire the best agents, and we give them all the tools to succeed. Even our brand new agents sell 17 to 24 homes a year because our team delivers the best experience in real estate. Teams deliver a better experience than individuals, and we're a top 1% real estate team in the country. We call it AAA service. We're your advocate, ally, and advisor. Because this isn't a transaction to us, it's a relationship. If you're buying or selling a home, call the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Sell your home for more, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line.
All right. Welcome back to Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon. She's Stacey Mitchell. We have Nick Wolf behind the camera, and we all work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we're going to be going over how to be absolutely prepared for any appointment because you need to be interview ready at all times in this business. We talked about this at our team meeting in November, right after the commission lawsuit ruling came out. So I think it's a great topic, Sarah. That's your brainchild here. So if you get some value out of this, subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the bell for notifications, and if you want to talk about how this could help you with your real estate needs or your career, schedule a call with our amazing team in the link in the comments. So we were prepping for the show, and I said, we talk about economic stuff all the time, industry stuff all the time. Our guest couldn't make it. What should we talk about? Sarah, take it away. Explain.
So I was thinking, like, in the day-to-day when you're out, and if you want to be able to, take that, a client calls and a property pops up and, you want to be able to fit that into your schedule, or somebody that you've been trying to get the listing for forever calls and is like, all right, I can do it in 20 minutes, like whatever, which is never ideal because like you want to always be able to be like properly prepped for, especially on the listing side. But, I think it's easy to, you have your day kind of ready and you're like, all right, I'm going to like this showing and that showing and this. Things that I would say are good to always have in your car are like boots, like for if a property gets added to your, your showing schedule for the day that you're going to be out like walking the property in the mud, or, like just having high heels on and going through certain places makes zero sense. So I guess having like extra footwear so you can kind of get through that. One other thing, this is kind of random, but maybe like a lighter. Now that we're getting into those like sometimes there's like frigid temperatures. Have you ever went to open a lockbox and it was frozen? Like the
Yes.
That's happened to me many times. I never even would have thought of that, Sarah. That's genius.
yeah. So like it would have to be the right kind of lockbox. You don't want to just like go melting the plastic on anything. But sometimes those gears are just like it's hard to get them like started if you're the first one using it in a while and you've had some below freezing temperature days.
That's a great idea. Like one of those you light the candles with.
Yeah.
Because a lighter, I would, they
Right.
your
Yeah,
fingers.
that'd be quick.
But
yeah, that'd
one
be
of
easier.
those.
Yeah, one of the like longer ones,
Yes.
and just like
Candle
what do you
lighter.
call it?
Candle
Thank you.
lighter.
right, and you wouldn't be able, you can't have it up there like for forever. Then you like burn your fingers.
Right,
and you have to do it.
but
But
just a-
sometimes just if it's
Yep.
that might be the difference between
Yeah.
being able to get it loosened up or not, because that is the worst.
Yeah.
It's already freezing cold, and you're trying to open a lockbox.
All right.
And you've driven there,
Exactly.
and you're going to look.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great
Right,
call,
That
Sarah.
is a good one. I think WD-40 will
Oh, that might work too.
unfreeze. And I always carry WD-40.
Smart.
And I have a little can. I always
Yeah.
keep it. Because do you ever try to get a key into a lock and it gets stuck or you
Yep.
can't get it in because nobody ever lubricates their door
Right.
locks. So many times I pulled that little thing out and I've fixed locks for people, like so that the key flows in
Oh,
and out.
that is smart.
So if you get a nice smooth lock, it might have been because I WD'd the no.
Oh,
but I
look,
think
yeah, I'll look and see if your
get a-
card's sitting in there because you already showed it. Like this
Get a
key went in
little
way too
can.
smooth.
That's right.
The MacGyver of real
It's
estate,
like-
Yeah.
because
Stacey Mitchell.
Sometimes I'm afraid to break the key.
Right.
Can you imagine if you break the key off in the lock and then what are you going to say?
Right.
I broke your key off in the
I'm
lock.
gonna put right now for later tonight. Get WD-40.
Yep, keep it a little can.
Yeah.
It's like a miracle thing. And not only that, it's good for like doors and everything. Door like hinges and things like that.
Yeah.
The other thing I would definitely on the boot thing, make sure you have like a rain jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had one in my car today.
Yeah.
So thank God.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I always keep a rain jacket. The extra shoes is definitely
Mm-hmm.
and a little hand towel.
Yep.
A measuring tape.
Yes.
That's a good one.
That's you always have to have that and a flashlight, some
Yep.
kind of light flashlight.
Yeah.
Now flashlights can also they have dual purpose. So if you get a big a heavy flashlight,
Mhm.
you can feel secure with a heavy flashlight
Yeah.
if you're walking around. So
Yeah.
if you find yourself showing like empty homes or
Mhm.
shells that investors are gonna, I always take my flashlight with me. It's
Yeah.
a multi-purpose tool.
Nice.
Interesting. So I'm gonna approach this on the listing side. I think it's a little different. So one thing I'm a big believer in for both is keep your presentation packages with you, right? Like a buyer or a seller, because even if it's on the weekend, you want to have to drive to the office and then drive somewhere else, or maybe you have something going on. I think that's a mistake that you want to be interview ready. I say this all the time. You got to dress the part, right? So I have like 5 ties in my office. I keep 2 in my car. They're pretty neutral. Ladies, you don't have this problem. You don't need to wear neckties. I mean, maybe you do. I don't know. But you want to be dressed appropriately because you don't want to show up and like, oh, great. Can you come over now? And this has happened recently. Like we had an appointment last Friday with Kevin from our team. We've been chasing this person down, trying to meet with them. And she said, hey, I can meet you in an hour. And they have a busy life. They run a restaurant. So I kind of get it. But if I wasn't ready, driving home, you miss your opportunity. And you don't know who's watching you with these appointments either. Like when the parents, you ever done a deal with like someone's parents or like a relative or something? They're always watching you. So I think being dressed appropriately, making sure you got your presentations with you. I would bring gum or some sort of breath mint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yes.
eat like smelly stuff at work, but imagine like you had like garlic or something and you like, or
Yep.
just like you feel like your breath stinks. I
Yep.
mean, and you're talking to people, that's going to turn some folks off. Like
Yeah.
it's actually pretty wild that happens. So those are things, and I'm a big believer in bringing your phone with you everywhere and having a phone charger. Like you don't want your phone to die, right? I would even get a charging pack, like one of those battery packs. You know what I'm talking? Because like sometimes the ones in the car are a little finicky. So I'd make sure your phone, you have the ability to charge it, because I mean that way people can track you, they can see where you are. I think those things are all pretty important, and I would keep my I carry a portfolio because apparently all I do is sell real estate, according to Sarah. I just research it, but it's like a place where you can keep notes and like bring a presentation so you look like you're showing up for the part.
Yeah.
And for guys, I would
Oh,
also
great.
bring like an electric razor, because I mean I don't like some people, they grow a beard in like 10 minutes. Like I'm not one of those people, clearly, but if you got a later appointment, you don't want to show up like you look like you were out all night or you got a 5 o'clock shadow. I think that's something that can be pretty effective as well.
Yeah, they're all. I love those. They're all great points. I mean, the razor I don't need, but I love the consult books. Oh yes,
Yeah.
yep. I have a container in the back of the car that has all those. Has that, has booties, extra booties. You know, that it's kind of like my crash kit for real estate.
Right.
Do you guys
Yeah.
bring snacks in the car? Do you have any like
Yes,
power bars or
always
anything?
have snacks and water.
Yep.
Because you never know.
Yeah.
You know, and this way it'll prevent you from eating like really disgusting stuff out there.
Right. Right.
That I agree with. All right, that's all we got for this week's episode. You want to follow Sarah? She's at Ty_Ty Time on Instagram. You can follow Stacey at @2 Mitchko. You can follow me at Tom Toole 3RD at Tom Toole 3rd, and we're streaming live every single week on YouTube. Just click on the button to subscribe, the bell for notifications. We're here every Tuesday at 3 o'clock on WWDB 860 AM.